Hey folks, Pauleh here, and today I'm having a look at ArcheAge. Now this game is a sandbox MMORPG and it has many features, and I can't go over all of them in this video, so I'll be making more videos covering each feature as the time goes on. And okay, so let's get to it. ArcheAge was developed by XL Games and it was released in Korea in January 2013, so it's been out for over a year and a half now. And it's just now made it into alpha in the West, currently being published by Trion Worlds, the guys that did Defiance and Rift. So it's been a while since we've had a true sandbox game, sandbox MMO I should say. The last one I recall might have been Darkfall Online, but don't hold me to that. Maybe Mortal Online, but I never played it. Before that I can only really remember like Vanguard and Star Wars Galaxies. So theme park MMOs kind of took over the scene. But yeah, so what can you do in this game? Well, you can quest, you can craft, you can farm, you can build a house, you can sail the seas, you can fight players, you can build castles, you can lay siege to said castles. There is a lot you can do in this game, and I think the big things I'll probably touch on first is the fact that you can actually build a boat, sail it out into this massive ocean, which is here, into the massive sea, and then you can have ship wars with people, you can fish, you can dive and look for treasure, you could be a pirate. There's all sorts you can do, which is, I don't know, quite amazing in my opinion. And boats are really fun. And you have all your other standard MMO things such as mounts and that, and they've also added gliders which allow you to glide around. Now I can't currently show you because, as you can see, I'm on this airship and I've got this on my back. Now what this is a trade pack. So the way this game works is that, well, I'm not even entirely sure if this is how it works, but there's a currency called Gilder coins or Gilder stars, and these are used for buying things such as houses and other objects. It could be used for boats, but I'm not entirely sure, so don't hold me to that. I think it's a lesser currency for boats. But the way you obtain these is by doing trade runs. So trade runs require you to craft a certain item or a quantity of a certain item. Then you turn it into a trade pack which you carry around on your back. Now you have to take this from one point to another, wherever it is you've got to sell it. Now I'm just doing a quest, so it's basically on my own faction island, but it could be that you'll have to take this trade pack to the center island here, which I believe gives you the most points, or you could take it to the enemy's faction continent, and basically you'll be rewarded Gilder stars. So this is like one of the big end game features that you can start doing right away, but there's a lot of risk involved, because if you go out anywhere you could have an enemy faction come and kill you, or even the same faction if you're out at sea or in like a PvP area. I'm not entirely sure how it works, so I could be wrong with some of this information, but basically you have to be careful. So making trade runs ends up being a really cool and unique experience. I can imagine it getting tired after a while, just because if you look here, I'm stuck moving very slowly, and if I get on my horse, no, put him away before he runs off the edge. Okay, so I can't do that here, that wasn't a good idea. But basically you can't move at full speed when carrying a trade pack. Now there are vehicles like carts where you can put trade packs in to transport them. You can also build a merchant ship which will carry several trade packs. So yeah, there are ways to get around this, and rather than having to travel from this area all across here to here, which takes a long time, I took this airship. So yeah, this is just one little thing in the game. But trade runs are probably going to be sort of end game experience. Now, in order to make this stuff, you need resources. It could be vegetables, meats, stuff like that, you'd have to farm it. So you actually get your own farm, or you can build your own farm in a certain area, which are all over the map, and then you can go buy seeds, plant them, water them, maintain the livestock, and then it takes some time. It can take, you know, from minutes to hours to days sometimes, and then you could take what you've grown and sell it, or use it for use it for recipes that you want to craft and so on. There is definitely a lot to it. Let me just work out where I'm going. I need to go down here. I guess I'll follow everyone else since they're running trade packs. Anyway, as I was going to show you, if I get on my horse, he doesn't move very fast because I'm transporting this, so we'll just have him follow us. But yeah, this is definitely a nice feature of the game, and the farming is very involved, and it's something to sort of sink your time into, which isn't a problem when it comes to MMOs. If you take a look at most theme park games, what you tend to have is you level up to max level, and then you either PvP or you do the raids to acquire your gear, and then that's it. That's the game done. There's never any other features to support long-term gameplay. This is why I'm very excited about this game. This is why we need more sandbox games on the scene. This is what they offer. They offer longevity. They offer something to do. And I mean, it's going to take a long time for you to earn, say, the biggest house. Like, you can build absolute mansions, or if you wanted to, you could join a guild and help them build a castle. Now, as far as I'm aware, you can only build castles on the northern continent, such as here. This is a castle that's been built by a guild, and you can then place houses within that area, but you'd have to pay tax towards the guild. I'm honestly not sure what the benefits are. I've only been playing this game for like a couple of days now, but I'm having a lot of fun. But my goal is I want to make some videos on this game, and I'm going to split it up, you know, on the various features, and hopefully some just general cool looking gameplay videos. But this video is mostly just a overview, so you can get a brief idea what this game's about. And as I said, there's a lot to cover, and I'm not too knowledgeable in it yet. One of the cool things I've seen is fishing, sports fishing, that is, where you go out into the sea and just fish, deep sea fish. And I've watched a lot of streamers do that, and you figured it might be boring, but it's actually a bit more involved in this game than other MMOs. And it's always funny watching someone trying to fish, and then all of a sudden a kraken comes along and just knocks them out the boat and kills them. One of my other favourite features that I've seen on this, that I'm looking forward to the most, is that if a ship's destroyed, I believe it's if a ship's destroyed, I could be wrong, it could just randomly spawn, but at the bottom of the ocean you'll find like wreckages and treasure, so you'd have to get diving gear, hook it up to your air pump on your boat, go underwater, you've only got a limited time, find the treasure and then attach some balloons to it so it will float up to the surface. And then the treasure's yours, which is a really cool little feature to have. Speaking of boats, there's someone's boat over there, I believe it's a guildie. So that's one of the many boats you can buy. That's the most common, the speedboat. In fact, I'm about to hand this in. Let me... So there we go, I finished the trade run and I got given another guild a star, so I'm up to 4 now. In fact, sadly, my boat isn't as fancy as that one. All I've got is this little dinky thing. Oh. So yes, you can get rowboats as well. Cool thing is people can still join you in these, sit in them. I could turn my lamp on if I want. go underwater, and this game is quite expansive, and like I said, I've barely scratched the surface in what you can do, and there's still a lot more to it. And one of the things to remember is that this is being developed by Triumph Worlds. Now, the reason why this is a big deal is because even though Rift wasn't like, well, I guess it was semi-successful, it's still running today, but even though it wasn't like, you know, on the scale of World of Warcraft, they've done alright for themselves, and the one thing they have done is continue to release content for it and really do a good job at maintaining the game. I think they've done a better job than any other developer out there, in my opinion, in terms of maintaining their game. I mean, you can say Guild Wars 2 has done alright with their, you know, living content, a living story, but to be honest, that's just temp content, which really doesn't amount to much. In fact, I just see a couple of galleon ships over there in the distance. I wonder what they're doing. But yeah, the fact that Triumph Worlds is going to be publishing this, that is huge. So this is a game you could really get invested in and not worried about being screwed over in terms of pay to win, because this game will be free to play when it's released. And if you take a look at the Rift store, they've done a really good job at making it fair and balanced. Now, I think the last thing I'll probably talk about is just the PvP. Now, as I said, you can PvP against your other faction or against the same faction. I'm not entirely sure how it works. I believe you turn Bloodlust on, which is basically a PvP toggle. But I think anything like out in the sea or in this northern continent is fair game. Now, if you look on the map, you'll get these red zones. These are basically areas that turn into PvP fests and anything goes. And I should have said from the start, there are two factions in this game and two races on either side, but apparently they're adding one more race, I believe. Two more races, one to either side. And yeah, it's cool. I mean, to sum up an experience that I've had with factions so far, I've joined New Brotherhood, and because they were getting harassed by, in fact, these guys, New World Order, who are on the same faction. I think this was mostly due to streamers being stream sniped within my guild, but because this happened, the enemy guild from the enemy faction decided to, they thought it was lame and decided to come help us, so an alliance has basically formed because of that. So now, you know, we can call upon their protection if needed, if we run trade runs and things like that. So basically, alliance and political stuff like that works itself out in this game, which is quite nice. It's very reminiscent to Eve. So it's a cool thing. I mean, I haven't experienced this in a long time. Oh, and I should have said Eve was the other sandbox game, I suppose. Completely forgot about that, but yeah. If you're looking for a new MMO, I definitely recommend ArcheAge. This is going to have some things you won't have seen before, and if you can like just stick with it and you enjoy, like, a lot of it takes time. It's not quick when farming and crafting and so on, but if you can stick it out, it's very rewarding. You really get rewarded when you put the time and effort in. And it's worth pointing out that the best gear in the game comes from crafting, so you can't just go do a dungeon or anything like that to get the best gear. You have to craft it, or you can buy it from someone, which is a nice little thing. And I suppose the last thing I should point out is that this game has a trial system, a trial and prison system, where if you commit crimes and you get reported, you could go to a trial where I guess well, I haven't really seen a jury that's fair, because the game's sort of become more open than before, so everyone just screams guilty the second you go into the courtroom. But you can basically play out a whole courtroom scene, and then you'll be sentenced, and if you're guilty, it tends to be, I think the max amount of time is like an extra 13 minutes, but it depends on your crimes. and then you'll basically go to prison where you'll have to do some manual labour and tedious tasks, and you're wearing the old black and white striped clothing, and then... But you can break out of that, and I've seen one person do it in a video where he found a key, snuck out, and then flew away on his glider into the sea and basically summoned his boat and sailed away, which was quite cool. Speaking of flying, there are gliders in this game, as you can see. They are cool. You'll be using one all the time, and you can upgrade these and all sorts, and it is cool. I should have probably mentioned that you can get pets like this one, and they'll follow you around, they'll fight for you, they do decent damage, and you can level them up, and they also have gear slots, so you could put like armor on them, things like that, which is pretty cool. Now, I could be wrong again, but I believe you might be able to get certain mounts which can actually act as a pet as well and fight for you, which would be kind of cool, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Anyway, that's it for now. Now, I'm pretty sure I've missed some things out or I haven't explained it very well. As you may be able to tell by my voice, I'm still under the weather, and it's kind of a pain to record, but what I'll be doing in the future is recording some videos for each different feature, going in depth, and hopefully it should be a better experience than this particular one. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this, and join me next time. Goodbye.